Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. How was your day?
It was good. Mondays are long. They're like my 9-hour day.
Wow.
And it's starting to get really hard, like just being in full PPE all day.
Yeah, yeah,
So I literally just come home and just shower, like just drink a lot of water because I'm super dehydrated.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
I often wonder, Monica. Um, I mean, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so grateful that you make this commitment. But I often wonder from a medical perspective, and I've read a little bit about it as well, on what the effects of wearing PPE for so many hours can possibly do
Yeah.
to us internally. Hi, Navi.
Mom, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Navin. How are you?
I'm good.
Where's
Hi, Mom.
Sabrina?
She is coming in a second. She's using the restroom. I got rid of her, actually. I'm just kidding. Definitely not.
Not funny, Navin.
But Roma, to answer your question, I feel like it is taking a toll on my health. Like I can feel it because we have the N95 and then we have the shield. So and then we have to have the pharmacy in a certain temperature. So it gets really, really hot.
Yeah.
So I find myself like having to take like, all right, like after 2 hours, like I need to just go outside and just get some air. But it does take a toll on us and it is getting harder.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Rita.
Hello.
Hi, Ritanti.
Hi, Vita. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Hi, Sabrina. Good to see you guys.
So what we were talking about, guys, is Monica works. She's a pharmacist, and so she wears PPE all day long.
Do you do N95? Do they make you put a mask over the N95 and then a shield on top?
Yeah, when I'm doing immunizations. So I've got the surgical mask, I've got the N95, and I've got the shield, and then I've got gloves. And then we're starting to wear the disposable coats.
Yeah, just like the snap ones.
It's really hard because you get super dehydrated. All I can think about is like ice water, and I literally come home and that's all I want. I don't even want to eat. I just want like a whole thing of just ice. I just want to drink ice. So my kids have it ready. They're like, "Here you go, Mom. Here's your cup of ice."
Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty tough. Like I mean, it's wearing a regular surgical mask or even an N95 for 20 minutes. Sometimes in my head, like your level of respect for all the healthcare workers goes like through the roof because it's kind of always been a thing, right? And like there's the periods of time they have to get worn for. It's a lot. I'm sure you're dehydrated.
So my level of respect for ER, people who work in the ER, ICU, because they have to wear like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So I have the most respect for them because what they have to wear and like this like tubing stuff they have to wear. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny because my best friend right now is working ICU in San Diego and he's working overnight shift. And when I talk to him, he doesn't even mention it. He's just like, he doesn't even mention the fact he has to wear all this. He's like, I'm just tired because I'm working a 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift.
Yeah.
He doesn't even mention the PPE or anything like that because it's like, it's just part of it, right? It's just, their goal is to take care of people and to help people. And like, so it's amazing. Just like Ritanti, like, right? Like you know all about this.
Yeah. And even Sonia and Pooja, both of them, Pooja, Monica. First of all, I'm going to take a step back. Navin, Monica knows Rohit very well.
Oh, nice. So Rohit is working the ICU right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I know John and Renu very well. They're like best friends with my uncle, and they were actually at my wedding. It's really funny. So yeah, it's such a small world, right?
It really
Yeah.
is. It really. I just thought of that, and I thought I should tell Navin that Monica does know Rohit, and then Rita's kids. One's a pharmacist, or almost in pharmacy school, right? Almost done.
Yeah, she's almost done. 6 more months.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
And then Sonia, she works the ER at USC.
Yeah,
Right?
at USC County. That's where she is.
Yeah.
She's in the COVID units. Yes.
Oh my God.
So, so everyone here is sort of familiar. You know, I know Navin, that puts us sort of, you know, in the second line of fire, right?
But you know, your roles have been very crucial at the same time. You know how, Navin, you have supported my hospital in particular.
Yeah.
I know Clyde speaks very highly of you. So
Good.
yeah. No, it's a challenge, and I think to see the numbers go back up, we were like, you know, my hospital is not such a huge hospital, but had gone down to like 20s, and today we were back to 70. So it's really it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because I'm not in the front lines, but I'm like in the management, just seeing our people are beyond exhaustion, and they don't see any relief right now.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part right now. Yeah,
And
but
a small group here, and we can have, you know, a little more intimate get to know each other.
Mhm.
Monica, just so you know, Rita is the director of risk management at her hospital, at her own hospital. So,
Very
you know,
nice.
everybody plays some sort of role here in,
Yeah.
except Sabrina and I.
but you know, I know, like, going back to what Navin was saying, that he doesn't talk, and I think as healthcare workers, Monica can probably share, I think we just got to the point, just go get in there, get the work done. And initially, like, you know, when my kids moved back early in June, and Sonia was starting her residency, initially we were like, okay, how's it going, everything? I think we all got to the point, we don't want to talk about work at home anymore. And because it is like, I think it is like, you just never get a break because you're already at work. So it's like really not talking about any patients. And interestingly, 3 of us, one being a pharmacist, I'm nurse from my training, being in risk management, one physician, we can talk all hospital all day long.
I'm sure.
Believe me, we can talk about all the negative things goes on. My world is full of, you know, the crisis management. So saying all that, you know, so we just made it a point. I think we are not going to talk. And what happens is my husband and my son-in-law, they are not in healthcare. And with that being, and they're like kind of like looking at each other, when are they going to stop? So I think we made it a point. We're not going to discuss. If there is anything we need to talk with 3 of us, we can always talk offline, on the phone, elsewhere, but not at home. So I think it's just kind of like getting through it. Yeah.
I mean, and Mom, don't say you guys aren't involved in this, because you guys are all the without you two, do you think anyone would stay sane in our family? Come on.
It's a support system, you know, what you're providing, and unfortunately you don't get counted, but you know, none of us will be able to do our jobs without all that support. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for even saying that. I think it's COVID is everyone's responsibility, right? And
absolutely,
we did with this. We layered the elections on this, and you know, the elections have been sort of the pandemic of its own, right?
I know. Like, I think a lot of people were waiting for this 4 years, and some were like not wanting to end of it. So the country is divided, like how your note said, you know.
And I feel, as I see more and more of this on social media, you know, and I'm sure all of you have seen this with friends even, you know, there's this underlying silence that you don't want to either talk about it, or that you feel a certain way, or even if you know somebody that's in your room, in your space, that does not share your point of view on who should have won the elections or voted for a different candidate, you know, there's an underlying angst. There's this underlying, you know, like a low grade fire that we're all holding. And of course, keeping in mind that, you know, winning and losing, these are simply states of mind. Right? Who comes first, who comes next. And, you know, we pick people, and I think that when we look at the state of the country and what Trump has done, um, his moral ethics values are all, of course, something that we've all sat back and questioned, like, wow, do we really want our children exposed to this? But also, if we look at the good that he's done with his personality, he's really erupted some volcanoes that had been sitting right under the surface for centuries. And that has truly been, that has been how he has triggered people. And in triggering people, then the weaknesses come up, right? Just like we talk about in parenting, that your children know your weaknesses, so they're going to defy you right at that moment. One child is going to be like you, and one child is going to be the complete opposite as you are. And they're going to trigger you so that you can look at your own weaknesses and grow up, you know, as parents. And I feel we're in a very similar situation at this point. You know, in these 4 years where we had Trump as the president, this was the state of affairs. A lot of things were brought to the surface, literally from the moment he was elected, and when that whole red and blue map became evident of who were these people that were voting for him. Literally from that moment up to now, he has stirred up consciousness to a point where it's helped everybody uplift and move to a higher consciousness. We were all busy in our day-to-day, running around doing our things, and no one really cared for politics till, well, let's put it this way. Not everyone cared for politics until Trump came along.
I said to Sabrina, I said, I want to make hats that say "Make politics boring again."
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, like it's different. Yeah.
It is all of a sudden what we should have been involved in from the very beginning. We all became involved in now, right? Everybody became active. We all know more of the, you know, the policies that we want to vote for and not vote for. There were so many things that, and you know, I don't want to make this a time where we discuss politics, but with this whole win and lose, yeah, as it became clear to us that yes, you know, goodness wins and ego trumps, and you know, like egolessness trumps, and people that are more loving and have morals and ethics and values are the way of the future. Yes, all of that has become very clear to us, but that doesn't erase the fact that half of the country is suffering, half of the country is angry, half of the country is resentful because their candidate didn't get picked, right? And if, let's say half of the half, even if a quarter of them were to vote for Trump for his policies and not for Trump himself, that still leaves a quarter of our country, that's millions, in angst over this decision. So then if we are advocating for human goodness, and if we're advocating for oneness and equality and social justice and racial justice and so many women's rights, and you know, so many different things have surfaced in the last 4 years, if we have our lens on the kind of society that we want, then we have to be that society ourselves first. We have to wear that on our sleeve first. And for that, every person we meet that is from the opposite side of who we voted for, or you know, who is elected, whatever our personal preferences are, then we need to come to them with compassion. We need to come to them with love. We need to come to them holding space when discussions happen. You know, what stance can we take? You know, those are the things that I'd like to talk about for a few minutes after our meditation, so that we can all get creative and see what we can do in our daily lives, so that we can actually take this forward into our day-to-day. Okay. So let's all arrive in the room. Thank you for being here. Let's take a deep breath. And feet firmly on the ground. Let's start with 2 breaths, 2 deep breaths. Letting go of what we came into the room with, the angst that we've collected over the course of the last week. In the out breath, releasing it. In the in breath, refreshing our hearts, our minds, and relaxing our bodies. And feeling grateful that we have all come here together to spend this time with each other, to raise consciousness in our own ways. We'll start our body scan today from the top of our heads. Just moving our awareness to the top of our heads. Softening our scalp. Moving our attention down to our eyes. Softening our eye sockets. Keeping our eyes closed if we're comfortable, but still knowing that we have the option to open our eyes if something arises. Melting our jawbone. Softening our neck and shoulders. Letting our arms soften up. Our fingers resting softly on our legs, on our knees. Being aware of the expansion and the contraction of our chest. Noticing the fall and the rise of our belly. The strength of our spine. Melting our sit bones into our seats. Really giving into gravity. Noticing the bottom of our thighs touching our seats, our cushions. Softening our knees, our calves, feet, and our ankles. Knowing that with our feet we can kiss the earth softly. Being grateful to Mother Earth for keeping us grounded. Connect with your anchor. Beat your breath, your inhale, your exhale at your nostrils, chest or belly, or the sounds in your room, whatever comes naturally to you. As your mind wanders off, gently bring it back home with your anchor. For meditation is simply homecoming, coming back home, coming back to our center, holding the hand of our anchor, bringing us back to calmness, to even-mindedness. In your mind's eye, bring forth an image of somebody that you love, somebody that you care for. Could be a child, could be a pet, could be a friend, a sibling, just someone you care for deeply. And in your own words, wish them ease. May you have ease. Wish them peace. May you have peace. Good health and happiness. May you have health and happiness. As you send them this wish, notice what you feel in your own body. Perhaps the heart feels happier and more open and expansive. Gently tucking your shoulders back and opening the heart space, straightening the spine. Really holding this feeling of love and compassion that you have for this person whose image you hold in your mind. Now imagine a person who disagrees with your political views. Could be somebody that you've had a discussion with about the election, before the election, after the elections. And see if you can send them some love and compassion from the same frequency that you generated for the person that you love so much, the person that you wished well and ease. With your next breath, see if you can expand your heart and send them compassion and love, keeping in mind that they are suffering, with an illusion of loss. See if you can hold them in your heart gently compassionately, just holding space so as to ease their pain and ease their discomfort. Compassion and love heals suffering. And since our heart can hold so much, it is so expansive. See if you can add a few more people in there that need your love, that you think are hurting. Perhaps you can hold those few million all in your heart. With the beautiful frequency that you held for your friend or your loved one. Encompassing them all with that frequency of love, of compassion. Knowing that when we generate such frequencies in our body, these frequencies can hold many, many, many more than we can imagine. They have a ripple effect. That goes out to everyone. Raising our own consciousness and theirs. With your next breath, release them if you can. Offering gratitude to your heart for having this capacity for compassion, this capacity for love. And basking in it for the next few minutes. Letting this compassion and love flow through every part of your own body as well. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths, coming back into the room. And you can go ahead and unmute yourself because I'd muted you all. There was some background sound. Thank you all. That was really beautiful. I got a little teary-eyed because obviously I could feel all the love and all the compassion, and thank you.
That's very nice. Thank you.
I have a little piece for you here that I'd like to read. And this is from the Tibetan book of Living and Dying, which is probably one of my favorite Bibles for the last, 20 years since I first read this. What is compassion? It is not simply a sense of sympathy or caring for the person suffering, not simply a warmth of heart toward the person before you, or a sharp clarity of recognition of their needs and pain. It is also a sustained and practical determination to do whatever is possible and necessary to help alleviate their suffering. Compassion is not true compassion unless it is active. So this is what our job can be for the week, our task can be for the week, our undertaking, our challenge is to see how we can make compassion active when we hear conversations about the election, when we hear conversations, we see people in discord. What sort of equanimity, what sort of even-mindedness and calmness can we bring to them? And this doesn't necessarily always mean jumping in the conversation and having, having a discussion with them about it, because we know that that can go south. But just even getting in close proximity to them and just holding this practice, this space that we generated now in your heart for them. Meditation makes compassion active. When we do these heart practices, compassion is perhaps one of the most beautiful and most important. The Dalai Lama talks about compassion all the time. Compassion is one of the most important heart practices. And so just holding space for them can be a great way to just get this ripple effect generated in your body and shared through your body to whoever you feel needs it. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.